and welcome. My name is Chelsea. I'm an intuitive wellness coach and former naturopathic doctor, and I love helping people discover the hidden blocks to their health, energetically and physically, and providing the action steps either through clinical investigation or intuitive information that we pick up on together in our consults and programs. And today I wanted to expand on a topic that many of you were really vocal about wanting to know more about. In my Instagram stories, I mentioned that at one time, basically I had made this declaration to help my family clean out energetic junk, so to speak. I would be the sort of person that processed things for my family, which was a big lesson in what not to do with energetic boundaries. So this video is all about energetic boundaries and how to maintain energetic boundaries and address breaks in that energetic boundary if you should happen to create them yourself like I did, or have them created in various ways. So first of all, I'm going to give a little bit of a background briefly. So from when I was very young, I would always notice different dynamics in the family from an emotional perspective. My nervous system was always trying to pick up on who felt the safest, what kind of narratives were going on, how were people interacting, so that I would know where to kind of place myself to get needs met or just feel that safety, which is a need and a requirement as a child, to have that emotional safety. As I grew older, I started noticing inconsistencies in what I was feeling and how people were behaving. So for example, if there was a sort of a tense relationship, it would seem like on the surface like everything was fine, but I could feel the vibration of that underlying tension. And as time went on, I realized that I actually had the ability to pick up on people's traumas, so to speak, or the things that they suppressed. That's more accurate. The things that they suppressed and had under the surface. So I'd be able to get a sense of, okay, this person has this type of thing going on. This person was bullied. This person was experiencing grief. This person was experiencing a detachment. I had all this information coming at me. As I got a little bit older again, I started to see it more visually. So that's the gift that I use now with clients, is sometimes I'll see it visually. Most of the time I will see it visually. The odd time I'll hear it as something like a felt sense of a word. But essentially I'm picking up on information that's available in the field that is unseen to our physical senses. So that's my background. And in this journey of kind of expanding into the awareness of these intuitive gifts and skills and abilities, I had to work on boundaries. So I'll say this: when you are a child and you're in a situation that doesn't feel emotionally safe or stable, that means it's not predictable. There can be sudden changes in mood or emotions or tension in the home. Then you automatically start to open up the boundaries energetically because you're looking to enmesh or attach to something that is secure and safe. And so that's kind of an unconscious process that happens. And that's kind of what happened with me. As I got a little older, I realized, okay, I have these certain relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, where I don't know who I am and I'm just doing whatever I can to keep in this relationship because I assume that that's what keeps me safe. So as you grow in your own empowerment and your confidence, which is really what my Chorus Body Connection blueprint is about, it's like literally the blueprint of what I did to shift that. As you grow in your confidence and empowerment, your energetic boundaries automatically strengthen. And it's really the actions that you take, the choices that you make, I'll say. It's the choices that you make, knowing that information. For example, okay, this is how I used to relate. I'm going to choose to relate differently. That strengthens the energetic boundary. So going back to the story that I mentioned on Instagram about how I made a declaration that I would kind of be the person to clean out all the unseen information, all the emotional stuff that everyone was suppressing. Because I started to become aware that I could see it, I thought, oh, that must mean that I'm the transmuter for this. And in a way, we are, there are some of us in place in the family to be the transmuter of the generational or intergenerational trauma and experiences and to do things differently. But It's not meant to be taken on completely energetically like that. So by making that declaration, literally saying, I don't know if I said declare, but like stating it with such strength and conviction that I would be the one to do this, that opened up a door in my field. And what happened was I started to get some family members who obviously heard that on some level energetically, because I got a strengthened connection with them, not in a good way though. What would happen is I would feel if they had grief or emotions. I would feel if they were about to email me and they were upset, or reach out because they were having a hard time. So I would sense all the stuff that they were carrying, but I would feel it as though it was my own initially. So my biggest lesson as step one was, well, first of all, don't do that, but I learned that after. But second was to figure out which was mine and which was not mine. So I needed to take a bit of sacred space, a moment of reflection, and just think and feel into the body. Is this mine? Is this not? Similar to a meditation you might have heard from me already, listening to your symptoms, going in and figuring out the message of the symptom. It's a similar thing here, going in and figuring out, is this feeling, what message is there? Is it even mine? And oftentimes it was not. And that's how I recognized the pattern of, oh, every time I feel this sort of edginess, this person reaches out and they've got something going on. Oh, it must be related to what I said. And that took years for me to figure that out, honestly. So hopefully this will speed the process up if you have a similar thing going on. So basically what I did was to increase, again, the empowerment and the confidence in myself. Now, sometimes when you're going through that process, you get to a point where it feels like you hit a bit of a wall, because again, nobody is validating the experience on the external or the 3D in the physical world. Everyone is fine in the suppression, the dynamics the way they are. If you're awakening to a different reality and you're increasing the requirement for authenticity in your life, it's going to start to create some friction. And again, Body Connection Blueprint, it's module 5 is where I break all that down, connection and communication. It's the most unexpected piece that I realized my clients really needed. And it was a huge part of my journey. So that's why I added it into the course, because it gives you specific skills on how to actually address interactions with these more challenging relationships in particular. What it really comes down to, though, is figuring out, where is your line in the sand? What part, or how much are you willing to invest in the truth of what you know? So how okay are you with being aware of all this information and not forcing it onto others, but also being present in these situations where it can be a little bit conflicting. So what you know as the truth and feel as the truth is not being displayed on the outside. Can you handle that? Can you not? That kind of gives you the branch of the pathways. You can take this route of, as I said recently on Instagram as well, you can wear the mask in that situation and then do your processing after. Or do you kind of push the boundaries a little bit, or push the limits in your expansion and actually seek to create that level of authenticity that you require? And as I always say, the other person involved is, they're not obligated to change based on what you say. But if it helps you to voice your opinion and your truth, regardless of what their response is, then that's a valid option. Just briefly, there's a few skills that I always recommend with that. So I statements, saying I feel this, I perceived this, is really important, because you are only in control of what you perceive. You can't tell with the other person. So if you say, you did this to me, that's actually not accurate. I felt this when you did this. That would be more accurate. So remembering to use conscious communication skills is really important. There's a bunch of basically tips that I have in the course from Nonviolent Communication, which is a book. and the author escapes my mind right now. I haven't actually read the book fully, but I took those pieces of information from there because it was a really good summary. And basically, it's stepwise how to actually approach a conversation, to ask for something that you require at the end, and set up how you felt and what your approach is and where you're coming from a very non-defensive place. So those are some options. Essentially, either way, it's really about, again, the work that I do a lot with clients is rescinding or dissolving these oaths or ties or vows, agreements that we make either in the current life, and sometimes it's in a past life, that we will always serve this person even if they're not being so kind to us, or we will always give our power away to this person regardless of what's going on. And in this current lifetime, or at that current state in our lifetime, we may decide that actually that's not valid anymore. I'd like to do things differently. So there's an actual process of how to shift that energetically, which dramatically changes relationships and how they work. I've been doing this work with clients for some time now, and it still amazes me how fast some things can turn around in relationships, with the other person all of a sudden being able to hear or be more grounded or respect that other individual. So I hope these tips help. And again, if you want more information on this, Body Connection Blueprint is the course where I break down this, as well as all the other pieces that I did myself and have guided clients through as well, to really increase empowerment through increasing body connection. It's really the key. You can increase your own intuition that way, your authenticity, your integrity, and shift your physical symptoms as well by increasing body connection. It's something that is so underutilized, so under discussed, and yet is so important. So if you feel called to it, I'll have the link below. And I always have discount information there as well. So I hope you will check that out. And if you have any further questions for follow-up on this, I'd love to hear if you have any other questions or comments and things I can expand on for you. I would love to touch on that in future videos. Okay, take care, stay well, till next time.